I'll give you like a thumbs up.
Alright.
What is this starting with, bro? Is
Sorry?
this just the cover image?
Yeah, the cover image.
Okay, cool.
Alright, so right now we're live.
Okay,
The
would
link
you
should
mind sending me a link, please?
the link should be on the YouTube page.
On YouTube,
check,
yeah?
check, yeah.
I think we live.
Yep, it's on YouTube page. Yeah.
Is this just the cover image?
Good now, yeah? Yeah, it's something. Is from the phone? Yeah. So we're live now. Because you are making some. Okay. If you what is some? So it's gonna put my microphone here. Because right now everybody can hear what we're saying. Okay. But I'm just sound check. Person. It's already live. It's already live on YouTube.
So guys, welcome to Crypto Pioneer, hosted by Crypto Case Club, featuring Astro Must. Um, Please, next slide. Yes, so I guess I'm going to quickly jump in to give you a brief introduction as to who we are, just to give you a gist of what's what. The founder of Crypto Case Club, Lucas. Not going to jump into his background and whatnot, but I'm going to quickly say that he's been doing some sexy ass projects. One of them being Digital Coin. If you haven't heard, haven't seen, it's one of the largest crypto French speaking website, media oriented thing, so you can have a look. Please, sorry. And then just basically give you a TLDR of Crypto Kiosk Club. So Triple C is basically a community-based event. We basically host physical and virtual events. And our primary business model is, of course, just to help and bring people together. And of course, you can have a read through it. We'll share with you the deck after the presentation and whatnot. You can have a look through who we are and whatnot. Yeah. Just to give you thematics as to in terms of what we do, just to give you a brief introduction, I guess, in terms of what our physical and virtual events are like. A little bit of mystery here, of course. Of course, happy to see some people that have come through Let's Talk Crypto. This is one of our casual meetup, to discuss crypto, discuss your life. If you have life problems, wife problems, girlfriend problems, please, by all means, you can come and talk to us, have some drinks, and we'll take the love of you back, basically. And then Crypto Pioneer, this is where we are, this is what it is. I do apologize again, but this is the event to present the pioneers, the brainchilds, and the people that are basically driving the crypto community or crypto world to the next stage. And just to give you a little bit of a demo presentation of what's to expect if you ever want to decide to come and attend one of the events, which is, let's say, Let's Talk Crypto. Vincent, sorry. As you can see, there's one event that we had, our initial event. There's plenty of happy faces, of course. This is nothing to do with alcohol. Everybody is happy to be there. Vincent, sorry. You keep going. Yeah, keep going. So this is us, and I do apologize to script through it. But anyways, what I want to do is, if I could please ask you to put your hands together, give a warm welcome to Vincent, because this event is not about us, it's not about Crypto Chaos Club or Crypto Pioneer, but it's all about the innovators.
Thank you very much. Oh, that's loud. So thank you everyone. I've prepared a little video for you guys to introduce what we've done so far. So a little teaser. Let me put it on for you.
So when you see a bunch of things, just push down. Just push down.
Just a couple of years ago, it seemed that space mining was inevitable. Analysts, tech visionaries, and even renowned astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson predicted that space mining was going to be big business.
The first trillionaire there will ever be is the person who exploits the natural resources on Astro.
In a 2017 note to investors, a Goldman Sachs analyst wrote, "Space mining could be more realistic than perceived. A single asteroid the size of a football field could contain $25 billion to $50 billion worth of platinum." Space mining companies like Planetary Resources and Deep Space Industries, backed by the likes of Google's Larry Page and Eric Schmidt, cropped up to take advantage of the predicted payoff. After all, the holy grail of asteroids, known as 16 Psyche, had an estimated worth of $10,000 quadrillion.
One giant leap into a metaverse.
Thank you everyone. I can see it was a bit of a long video, but there's so much stuff we've been busy with. I had to show you a bit of what we've been up to. So today, what I'm planning to show you is kind of, I want to give you an update. We haven't really communicated to pretty much anyone what we've been up to for the last 6 months. And the reason why is because obviously since the bear market, we looked at our data, we looked at what we were doing, and we essentially wanted to be well placed and to find a way to really go forward in a way that makes sense. So essentially here, I'm going to do the full presentation of what Astromust is today. So what is Astromust? So Astromust, as you can see, I'm going to go on the side, is a futuristic game ecosystem where players explore and discover many games. Players will trade, complete and uncover mystery, join adventure, partake to captivating stories, and you as the player, you are the hero of the story, and ultimately you get to shape the legacy of the game. So as a little recap of what we've done last year, you can see, again I'm going to go on the side, so we've done a game which is right now on the App Store, so if you guys are curious, just go on any App Store and you type Astromust, you'll be able to play our little demo game. We did a little experiment with that game. We spent $1,000 in marketing, in the ad on YouTube, on the trailer, and essentially we got 40,000 downloads and 24,000 active users. So just imagine if we spend 100K on this, 400K on this, just to give you an answer, 400K is more than 10 million downloads. Now, we're also about to release a game on Steam. It's already uploaded as I'm speaking. It's just going through the final data to be processed and published. But it's we call it the Astro Royale, so it's a shooter game as opposed to the demo game, which is going to be the crafting game or RPG game. It can host up to 200 players. We also did an interesting achievement. We have currently one of the largest metaverse around, with more than 1 million meters square of metaverse across 6 maps, and we already have around 3,400 visitors already, and we ranked number 1 3 times on spatial.io. So what is it that we're planning to do? So we realized that we are in a unique situation to address 3 different markets. So you can see here, we are able to address the gaming, essentially you can see it from the game on the App Store with 24,000 active users. It looks like our game is very much liked by the gamers. However, when we look from the Web3 perspective, since it's we are essentially a Web3 project, especially how we started it, we realized that there's a massive amount of people, which is called the retail investors. We want to give them space to enter our economy, essentially. And last but not least, the play-to-earners. We all know that the play-to-earn model is a broken model. However, if you plug the play-to-earn model to a gaming Web2 economy, you get an economy that actually makes sense. So let's look at our relevance in the Web2 ecosystem, since we are planning to make a host of Web2 games as well. I mean, as the main part of the revenue model. So you can see this is a snapshot of roughly the top 10 mobile gaming on the App Store. And essentially what you can see is that there is 2 categories. On one hand, 99.9% of games are what we call single titles, which is at the bottom, like Candy Crush, Pokemon, and so on. And there is also another type of game that you can see at the top. Actually, if you look at the average of revenue, all the top 10 combined, the average is around $1 billion per year, and there's only one of those games that has a revenue of 2.2 billion among the top 10. So it's pretty much above the top 10 easily. And it is Roblox over there. And it turns out it's a pretty different business model, even game structure altogether. It's what we call a multi-genre game. Essentially, when this game... Hello? Yeah. Essentially, when the single titles are only able to target one category at a time and have a finite life cycle, the multi-genre game like Roblox is able to target all the game categories And because there's always new games coming up in their ecosystem, essentially there is absolutely no life cycle. It keeps on growing just the same as the App Store itself. So at Astro we realized that there is a thing to do here, which is actually not even done in Web2 gaming. We can actually take the idea of a multi-genre ecosystem, like Roblox, plus the IP of a single title game, and this is what Astromos is going to propose. So here is it. We're planning to do an ecosystem of games shared with one story. But then how are we going to build this? How are we going to make it happen? How are we going to make this vision come to fruition? Well, it's very straightforward. We're going to build an MVP proof of concept for this. So essentially, we're going to have 3 games in the MVP: the survival game, the shooter game, and the casual game, which we could also say hyper-casual game. Essentially here, we are planning to update the game on the App Store, which is going to have an increased game loop and add the in-app purchases to it. We're going to use the game that we're launching on Steam to add it also to the mobile gaming and connect them together, such that you can build a gun in the survival game and export it to the shooter game and play with it. And we're going to do exactly the same for the hyper-casual game or the casual game. So essentially what we're proposing is a curated experience on the freemium model, where you can have joint progression, shareability of items, and even currency. So what is our differentiator in this big ecosystem? Well, the differentiator is as follows. First, in order to have a vast ecosystem of gaming, we needed a very good IP. For example, if your game is called Call of Duty, you know you're not going to have a racing game. Or as on the other way around, if your game is called Need for Speed, you're not going to have a shooting game out of it. So to have an IP that's able to accommodate all type of game, to in the future have all game genres, is very key. And the key for this is to have a reality-based game. We figured out that with a reality-based game, we will be able to integrate any idea, any IP. I can give you an example on the fly. Let's imagine tomorrow Pokemons are very trendy and we need to integrate a Pokemon game. For us, it's easy. We just say, hey, there's a new planet that just came in the solar system called Nibiru. There's animals on it, and they behave just like Pokemon. And boom, we have a Pokemon game in our ecosystem, in the narrative. Our economic model also is going to be very key. We're going to obviously integrate the games, and we know that retention for gaming is very key. So the ability to interconnect games and have players go from one game to the next and stay in the ecosystem is going to be another factor of success. Also, in order to have this ecosystem, we need to have a speed of development which is way beyond regular studios. So how are we going to solve this? Well, the solution we found is to partner with studios and publishers to specifically target games which are the end of their life cycle, and to literally integrate them to our ecosystem, doing what essentially we call a reskin concept. So that will allow us to add games in our ecosystem at a speed that no other studio will be able to match unless they do the same technique. The last but not least on the economic model, the fact that we allow our Web3 retail investor to buy NFT for the prospect of return on investment will also boost the revenue for adding more game to this ecosystem. And at last, to show that we can make it, so just so you know, we raised everything that you saw. We raised $320,000, and we built 2 games and one of the largest metaverse. So if that is not approved, I don't know if you know about usually how it works in the industry of studios, but unless you've raised millions, you can't build anything, essentially. So we think that we proved that. So let's look at how the metric is going to look like. So if we take the game that is already on the App Store, and we look at how much we need to spend to get, let's say, 10 million downloads, we see that we need $400,000. Now, once we add the in-app purchases to it, and if you look again, the average in-app purchase per download, which is $1 every 4 users, you get that the game on the App Store will generate 2.4 million in revenue. And if we push it with optimization, we can go up to $3 million in revenue just with one game. Now, apply the same logic to all the games we're going to add, and you get this. 3 games, $9 million revenue per life cycle of game. 6 game, 18 million in revenue. 12 game, 36 million in revenue, and is extremely scalable. It's what all the games on the App Store are doing right now. And we took also some of the data to substantiate this from one of our partners called Tap Nation, which is a publisher. We're planning to work with them, and the average game in terms of download is 10 million minimum. So let's look at the game ecosystem, how it works, but from inside. So you can see on the right side, you got all the game categories. You can see that we're going to target RPG, shooter, casual game, all of that independently. And we will have an MVP or a game to match it every time. Which means that all our ecosystem, all the game in the ecosystem will be independently targeting those games separately, which means that we're going to have a power to penetrate the market, which is also higher than usual. Even Roblox doesn't have that. Roblox, all the games are inside the app, and therefore it can't be shown in every category. Our games will be separate, therefore they'll be able to be independently going ahead in their own category and trying to make their place over there. On the other hand here, you can see over there, on the bottom right, that all the games in the future will be fed by publishers and studios. And essentially we're going to operate what we call a risking to make sure we have a very quick addition of new game in the ecosystem. And on top of it there, you can see that this is the Web3 component that is in that type of flow. Is the NFTs that is owned by retail investors, which will be able to generate in-game assets, and then they will be sold to the Web2 users. And therefore they will get around 20% back from that, which means that we are planning to share with you guys 20% of our business model revenue just by owning an NFT. So a little bit more about those NFTs. I'm not gonna spoil it just now because we're going to do another announcement on this very soon. But in a nutshell, by owning those NFTs, you will get $1,000 worth of token just as a gift. And it's gonna cost around $500, so you get already your money back twice. And also you have the passive in-game generation, passive in-game item generation, which you will give 20% back to the NFT holders. And finally the stats, an extra stats, because those NFTs are also 3D models. But that's all I'm going to say about those NFTs just now. So let's look at our roadmap. So first, last year, I already mentioned everything that we did. The 2 games, the Metaverse and the NFT collection. And for this year, we're planning for Q1 to finalize and update the update of the game on the App Store to start generating revenue. For Q2, we're planning to add the shooter game, which is already on Steam, connect on the App Store as well, and connect it to the first one. Then on Q3, we're planning to get the hyper casual game or the casual game to that ecosystem. And from then on, from Q4 onward, we will exclusively work with publishers and studios to just get a lot of games in the ecosystem as fast as possible. And that's going to be the trend for the future. Now, let's look at how much we've raised so far and where we are right now. So right now, we've in the pre-seed last year, we raised $320,000, and this is what we use to build everything you see. Right now, we are in what we call the seed round. So in the seed round, we split it into 2. So there is an angel round and a VC round. The angel round, the reason why we split it is because in order to pitch VCs properly, most VCs, they want numbers based on revenue. And in order to revenue, we need to finish the MVP 1, if you remember, which we need to raise a bit of money to finish it. Therefore, we split it like this. So we give an advantage to the angel round, which they're taking more risk. However, we're giving them 50% discount in equity. The equity right now valuation on which we use for the angel investors is 4 million, of which we're going to raise 300K, and we already pretty much almost raised 200K already. So we only have 100K left of that round, and once it's done, we just focus fully on the VCs, and they will have their data with revenues, and they can do whatever calculations they want from it. So here is a list of our current partners. So you can see, so this is the partners. So this does not even include the advisors, and it doesn't include some of the investors which are very key in the industry. But essentially, you can see very strongly we have Swissborg. Swissborg is with us from day one. They were actually with us before we started the project. Our DAO, one of the biggest community in Dubai. Xborg, which is a guild that actually is owned by Swissborg. Yana Esport, which handles a lot of the esport in the GCC area here locally. We also have Ternoa, which is over here. Woo woo! And also we have The Blocks. The Blocks is an accelerator for companies, which helps them to kind of be ready for all the VC pitches and stuff like that. We also have Exclusible, which if you guys know about metaverses, they're one of the biggest guys in the metaverse. They do very luxury metaverse design, and it was our ability to do a lot of metaverses, like from the size and the gamified aspect, that got us that partnership. We also have Agora, which is a DEX that works with Swissborg. I've put Navin here from XRP because it's such a key person that helps us as well. He's the general manager of XRP here in Dubai. And we also have Omelette, which came in very recently as well, which is essentially a platform where you can do on-ramp, and it's an amazing system for automated payments and etc. On this note, now there's something for you guys. If any of you is interested either for the investment on the equity or interested in the NFTs that will generate revenue, if you scan this, you will be able to have access to a very small questionnaire, which is literally like 3 questions: your name, your email, and your detail essentially, so that we can get back to you and you'll be able to tell us what is that you're interested in. So I suggest take a minute to do that. This literally takes 30 seconds.
Hey guys, so don't be afraid to pull out your phone.
Don't be afraid to pull out your phone. It's either you want to invest or either you want an NFT. It's one or the other. No pressure. Thank you.
Vincent, thank you so much for that insightful presentation. It was incredible. Yeah, thank you. So guys, if you don't mind, if you have any questions whatsoever, by all means raise your hand and we can ask them away directly to the inventor, the founder, the innovator, the pioneer. At all? Anybody? No? Okay, well, like enough, I do have some questions from the community right here. So just, I guess I'm gonna drop them right here and then we'll take it from there. Oh, my apologies. Oh, sorry.
So, quick question. Who are the developers actually? How do you manage to have these different technologies combined?
So the first thing I'm going to say is that I am the main developer. Although I'm not like full stack, I don't do backend, but I'm more front end. My specialty is in level design. So this is one of the reasons why for us to build metaverses is very quick. I built a metaverse for a big community in Paris, literally over the weekend. They called Meta Circle. You might know them, they're very famous. And it literally took me like what, 3 hours? So in 3 hours the metaverse was live. So essentially the way I intend to develop, so I'm looking for to break the regular way studios work. So essentially, if you look at the regular model, so I'm not a gamer developer from trade. I came from like the web developer side. But what I've encountered as soon as I hit the gaming, when I tried to build a game on my own, is that the studios are they're very splitted in the way they build games. So for example, if you want to just add an avatar in a game, you will have a 3D designer, you will have a rigger, you will have an animator, you will have somebody that integrated to the game. That's four people, and inside a big studio, it's 4 teams. So what I did for all the games that you see here is essentially I just took one guy that kind of know a bit of everything. So it was not like 100% everywhere. So I'm not intending to build like let's say perfection. I'm more interested in the quick output. And even our like gamers, they're not always interested in, oh, I've got the perfect lighting or everything. What they want is fun. They want something that they can access. If they have to wait 3 years to experience something, you might have lose them along the way. And a good example of that is look at Cyberpunk. How many years Cyberpunk is being in the process of being built? Maybe 5 years. And what's the result? They came out. The game was broken. People didn't like it. I'm a gamer. I tried the game. I started the intro, I didn't finish. I felt it wasn't well designed essentially. So our ability to do like smaller scale game, essentially you can think it like this. You know, studios right now, they have the philosophy of making Avatar as a movie. That they're making movies. Whereas Astromos, our philosophy is more we're going to build a series. So it's better we think it's better, and it's more Web3 as well, to build like little things that we can iterate over and over, and to get the final good product that the community is happy with. And this is how we kind of break the mold. So there is a bit of a difference here with the old school and new school that we're trying to create here. But it works. This is why it happened.
Any more questions from the audience? Guys, no? Okay. I guess I have a few more questions from the community itself. Vincent, just out of curiosity, if you want to get involved in Astromast as a gamer myself, how would we do that? Please.
Yeah, I like that question because actually, strangely enough, since September, when we decided to reposition the business, because we started off as a Web3 game project, and now if you look at our business model, we're much closer to Web2 game studio, actually publisher even. So essentially, for us, the philosophy is that if you like the idea, if you have the passion, if you think that this project is something you like, we let anybody be involved in any way they want. There is 3 members or 4 members in the community right now which have admin access on our metaverses, and they are totally free to add content as they please. They do quests, they set it up on Discord as well so that they can follow it up, and etc. So essentially, if you guys want to be involved with Astromos, join our community, show that you really want to do anything you want, and essentially we will let you do it. We will let you do. One of our core team member today, his name is Justin, he's watching the stream right now, he's in Paris, and he started as he was #1 week on the game on the App Store on the leaderboard. And he connected with me on Discord. He said, I really like the game, etc. He became the community manager. And then from community manager now he's part of our core team because he's so dedicated. And this is how Astromos is. So right now, especially we are in the growing phase, we are happy to get anybody that wants to add. We even have one person in our community that created a whole game. You know those little game on the browser when you don't have internet on Google? Well, that guy hacked that game. He replaced all the assets with the asset of Astromos, and he created that little game, and we posted that game on the metaverse. So you can go to the metaverse and play his game, which is about Astromos. So yeah, that's how it works.
Fantastic, Vincent. Thank you so much for that. I think just 3 more questions, if you don't mind. One of those, of course, is one of them being is when or what can we do in your metaverse specifically, and then if and what we can do is essentially maybe a follow-up to that is when will we start earning from the project?
Okay, so let's start by the metaverse. So the actual metaverse idea, it was not planned at the beginning in Astromos ecosystem at all. So what happened is that again, Justin from the community I just mentioned, he was trying to find a way to engage with the community on Discord better because we built a game on Discord and we were kind of getting bored of it. And essentially he just tried to build a small space about Astromos on special.io, and he showed it to us, and he made tilts. We realized that for us the metaverse could be a very good ground to give a better experience than Discord itself. So the first use case for us is community enhancement. After that, we realized that when we started building the first map, then the second map, all the way to the sixth map, we realized that actually we are getting here to develop maps which have themes and stories, and actually we are actually developing the storyline of the game by leveraging the metaverses. In other words, the community can join, have fun, we play around with maps, we play around with storyline and quests, and those quests and storyline will later be used to implement in the game. So now we're using it as a research platform to develop the actual storyline, which is very great because people are full of imagination and one writer can never come up with all those ideas, but the community can. And for the earning part, so the earning part, if you are an NFT holder, it will be we're gonna have another announcement soon. You will be able to purchase through an OTC an NFT. The NFT is already pre-minted, and essentially those NFT will be able to passively generate in-game revenue, in-game assets, which we will sell to those Web2 gamers. So that's going to come soon, pretty much this month.
Very cool, Vincent. Thank you for that.
Question.
Yes, we got a question. Fantastic.
Hello. If, for example, I want to invest 100K, is it better to invest through the NFTs or through the equity?
I guess this is my question. Those are my follow-up question, but you can go with it.
Yeah, so to invest 100K, without going into detail, I would say straight away it's better to go into equity, especially that the equity investors, they will be able to exit through the token as well. So we give them that ability to not be stuck in the equity, and there's a good way for us to be able to get some equity back as well. So they will be the first in line to access the token as well. But the NFTs, it's more designed for what we call retail investors. Retail investors is those that don't have like a massive amount of money to spend, but they still want to have access to the revenue generation of a studio, for example. So we're gonna have, let's say, a couple of different packages. There will be one at 500, there will be a special one at 5K, but 5K, let's say, is the maximum of the price of that NFT. And also it's going to be capped around 20% of the revenue, whereas potentially the investors, they'll have, to some extent, they might have, if they stay in equity, they have more control over the company as a whole, I guess. So yeah, bigger investor, I think is better for equity, but retail investors is better for the NFT.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Vincent. Wow. Okay. Who would like to go first? Okay. Sure.
That's a bit of a tricky question regarding the NFT because it's going to be utility token. And so, what's your opinion on that, and what's your insights?
I couldn't wait for that question. So, let me say this. We find a way to have an NFT which generate passively income and not be a security token. So how we doing it? So the NFT generates passively assets. Those assets are resold by us on the game, which is like you could say it's like on the App Store, let's say. So because it's a resale model and it's not a direct share of profits, essentially it's like you buy a tree, that tree makes seeds, you sell the seeds, right? So essentially we are able to go around that problem. We also discussed with a lot of legal people on this. So there is definitely a crackdown, first on token, then on NFT, which I classified as security. But this use case I just mentioned, because it's literally we are just reselling your assets that you own, and we take a fee, and you get the rest. Essentially, it's a resale model. It's very similar to if I were an app store myself, on which you can make revenue.
Hello, I have two questions. First question, what's the vesting? And second question, will we have access to deeper understanding of the tokenomics?
So yes, we have a full-blown tokenomics behind the scenes. The first thing I like to say is that everything related to the token, right now in the MVP 1, 2, 3 sequence, it's not mandatory for us to use. in the sense that all those ecosystem of game can actually work completely centralized and fully Web 2. However, we need the token as soon as we get, especially the play to earners that want to have we want to have some sort of a bridge between the game and the exchange essentially. So first on the vesting. So the vesting right now the token plan is going to be realistically somewhere around the summer, and the vesting structure and even the deployment with private 1, private 2, the whole sequence of it. Is going to be defined very near that date. The reason is because we last year we were already investigating how we can have a token and how it could be deployed, and we realized that depending on the macro economy and everything, some of the deployments are different. However, whatever is going to be the most convenient way given by our advisor, I give an example like the Swissborg guys, if they tell us that's the best way for the vesting, we also have Ternoa, which is a layer 1 as well. And we're going to follow their advice. But for now, it's not exactly set in stone how the vesting is going to go, but what we know is that it's going to be what the investors expect, let's say. And what was the other question?
You already answered it, but actually, I will have a third one.
I can hear it.
What's the blockchain?
Okay, the blockchain, okay. So right now we are doing a partnership with Ternoa, which you are sitting right here. So Ternoa is a layer 1 specialized in, like, they do a lot of different use cases, but one of the use cases is definitely gaming. For our perspective as game developers, we can work around a lot of ways that different blockchain work. So for them is they use some sort of blockchain where they use API to connect and SDKs to connect with the chain. So it's very similar to Immutable X in that regard. And yeah, it's going to be Ternoa. Yes, they are. Yeah. We can actually ask him as well. If you have a very technical question, he's right here. He's the CEO of Ternoa. But yeah, they're planning to be compatible with everything.
Fantastic. Yep, Zay.
Is there a cap on the number of tokens that are going to be issued, or is there a fixed supply?
That's also another interesting question that we're actually still thinking about it. So I'm going to tell you what we thought originally, and I tell you why the idea is slightly shaking. The first thing was that we want a finite supply, like everybody else. However, we realized that potentially the ability to burn token and to emit token is a functionality that might be very useful as well. So that's why that question is there. So we haven't finalized that question. So it's still we're still thinking. We're also thinking how to make sure that the game is also very stable. So for example, if the token were to behave as a stable coin or something like that, it's also something we're thinking about, because we're thinking about the game stability. And we also have another token in the game, which I can mention to you if you want in terms of structure, because I think we might be one of the first one to have admitted that idea. So there's a token in the game which is called a proof of play token. Essentially, proof of play means we want the token to represent the in-game value of your playtime. So in order to do that, that token starts with a supply of 0. And essentially when you, let's say, gather resources or you get like items, you can burn them, and that the action of burning them generate tokens. Those tokens are required when you want to craft an item as well. So there's a loop of creation, a loop of burning, but the reason why it's like a closed system like this is because the whole game could be played without interfering with the token which is on the exchange, if you were never to cash out, let's say. But as soon as you want to cash out, then you have to buy you use the token which is available on the exchange, essentially. So yeah, but the good thing about that is that it protects the game economy from the exchange interference.
Guys, any more questions? Okay, fantastic. Vincent, thank you. Just another round of applause, please, if you don't mind, for Vincent. Thank you. And guys, just I guess round it off and say thank you to all of you for attending Crypto Pioneer. I ask you for a small favor. We all love our phones. So pull them up. I'm not kidding. Pull your phones up. I'm not gonna ask you to send me nudes. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all good. All I ask you to do for me is one thing. First, I want to say thank you to Axel and Laura for this fantastic place, for having us, which is absolutely incredible. And another thing is, while you have your phone out, if you could please go on Google Maps, find Somea Lounge, and leave them a 7-star or maybe a 6-star review. Just say you had an amazing time, the food was great, the drinks were amazing, I had a blast. That's all I can ask. And then, of course, while you have your phones, there's a flag right in front of you. There is obviously something related to Crypto Chaos Club. Obviously, this is something that is of a mystery to us, or mystery to you, more or less, is that if you do fill out the form, you will get a message. Don't worry, we won't intrude your privacy, but it will be more of, would you be interested in attending an event next week, which is called Let's Invest. It's a privately held event. Hopefully, we don't live up to our name. Yes, we do have chaos in our name. Yeah. So I do apologize for that again for the little hiccup that we had. But nevertheless, please, if you could do scan the bottom part of the form if you would like to be part of the future Crypto Pioneer. If you'd like to be on the stage, maybe not in JBR, maybe somewhere else, but the idea, you get the idea. You get fancy people will ask you plenty of questions, you get to showcase your project, and hopefully you can make some money. I mean, that's why we're all here, right? And that's gonna be from me all, guys. I want you to continue drinking, have fun. Me and Lucas are gonna be here until 1 or until they kick us out. So by all means, thank you so much for coming, guys. Thank you.